Hey everybody, and welcome back to Hex Token channel. Hope you are having a great day. Now we've got a major upgrade on the channel, and of course we've got a new studio mic and a Shure mic, and of course let me know how the sound quality is. It should be a significantly step up from the previous, which was a step up from the previous before that. So I hope you guys enjoying this. The third generation. So we're really getting the audio up to scratch now, and I've got some more stuff coming in terms of the setup. So hopefully you guys enjoy that in the weeks ahead. So get in the chat there. Let me know if the audio sounds really crisp and personal. Let me know. And of course, we're going to get into some fun content today. A big shout out to Mikey in the house there. Hello all. What's up, Superman? Hope everybody is having an excellent day. Me too. I hope you guys are having a really good day. And of course, we've got Rango's in the house as well. Let's go, family, with the Rockets. I like the sound of that. Rango says, sound is good. Sound is good. That's fantastic. I appreciate that. Brian's in the house, one of our community leads. Good to see you, Brian. AP says, sound is great. Brian says, sound is great too. Good to see. Audio sounds great. That's fantastic. And of course, that sounds great also from D Tucker. Awesome. Yeah, so here's the third technology revolution for this channel. And now this is really a commercial standard YouTuber mic. So it's good to be up at this level now. Started off with the old PC mic. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see. Start off with the old PC mic. I used to get a bit of flack around that because it's a little bit grainy. Some people used to find it worse than others. And then, of course, then went from that to the iMac studio mic, which is built into the iMac, which is not too bad. And that's kind of maybe a 3x better on the old PC mic. And now with the Shure mic, it's probably another 3x better than the iMac studio mic, which is not not too bad. So hopefully it's pretty crisp now. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see who else is in the house. We got Ted Nelson as well. Evening, everybody. A big audio stream going on with Elon. RH was on for a bit. That's fantastic. Yeah, I was listening to that stream with Elon Musk. I didn't see Richard Hart in there at that stage, but maybe he came in a bit later, or I just didn't see him in the channel there. Christian's in the house there. Hello, familia. Good to see you, Christian. I know that Jack Levin was also on that stream, as well as a lot of Hexkins jumping in there too. But Getchy being a speaker on there was kind of cool. I know Kim.com was on there as well, so it's definitely one for people to watch. Bluff City Break says most likely mid-May for Pulsechain. Mid-May. Yeah, good one there, Bluff City. And Vance says, I missed RH on Elon's stream. What happened? Good evening, everybody. Yeah, I don't know what he said on there, so someone's probably going to clip that. So maybe K4K or somebody might end up clipping that. But yeah, it's a long stream. I don't typically listen to the long streams myself. And so, yeah, we'll find out. Someone would have clipped it, no doubt. We got Miguel in the house there. Hello from Portugal. Good to see you, Miguel. Pleasure as always. Now, let's get into it. We've got a poll on at the moment. So let's get into that. When Pulsechain Testnet V3. So when Pulsechain Testnet V3, and of course that is a big deal. That's going to be the first proof of stake version. That would be a very exciting development. Last update that we got from Richard was that development was going well, and of course that's exciting to see. We're about probably about 55 days or so since he announced on Hexologist channel that Pulsechain was going to fork the proof of stake version and leave behind the proof of work BSC version. So it's kind of exciting to see that play out. So it's going to be cool. So we've got the poll on at the moment. When Pulsechain Testnet V3, getting them vote. We're going to look at that later on during the live stream. Before Christmas, yay. And of course, that's we're going to talk about that as well, around the rumors around pre-Christmas. Obviously, I'd be very excited if it was pre-Christmas. I know all of you would be as well. January, a New Year time, party time, of course, and New Year's party, maybe in January. I'd be quite happy with January as well. That would be a pretty good vibe. The sun's shining here. We've just got a summer's day today. It's really, we had 3 weeks of storm, and of course, we're just coming into our summer. So exciting about that. February 23, give me some strength. Give me strength. That's right. Hold on. And of course, we're all waiting as patiently as we possibly can. Proof of wait, as we say. Or March or later. Boo-hoo-hoo. Boo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, March or later. See, it feels like a long way away, even though we've waited a long time so far. So boo-hoo-hoo to all of us. Or as Richard would say, boo-hoo-hoo, like that. He'll do that. So that's pretty funny. We'll see how we get on with that later on. All right, so cool. We've got a few other people in the house there as well. Crypto Tycoon. Hello, Superman. Good to see you. And, of course, Christian says, I was listening to the stream. Also, I was asking Elon for a phone, lol. Nice one, Christian. Well worth trying, I guess. AP says RH was a speaker and got kicked a couple of minutes after Elon came on. Oh, no. Really? That's a shame, man. We want those two to meet up somewhere. That'd be very cool. I know that people are trying to make that happen. Yeah, it's hopefully getting on the same stream. That's a start, right? So hopefully we'll get there in the end. Vance Malone's in house. They've been busy. Haven't had a chance to watch live for the past week or so, says Vance. Hey, it's good to see you now at the moment. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, and hit the bell. Helps with the YouTube algorithm, of course. If you haven't gone to our Discord, jump into our Discord. The link's in the video description. If you like really cool information and, of course, cool community, get into that. What else going to say? Yeah, I had a couple of live streams where I had a couple of copyright pieces and just little stuff, like little couple of seconds. I got pinged several times in a row in the last week or two. YouTube algorithm has pinged me a few times and slowed down the growth of the channel. That's what happens every time I get a couple. And it was just one time I forgot that it had copyright in it, and I played a few seconds of it. But that's all it takes. The algorithm is so clever. Picks up even a few seconds of stuff. So just the way it goes. Anyway, hopefully we'll move forward from that from now, and the algorithm will leave the channel alone, onwards and upwards, as we say. All right, so let's get into some of the news. Obviously, the video title is Richard Hart's latest Pulsechain update, and of course, rumors about Pulsechain Testnet V3. We're going to talk about that now. Let's get into it. So we got the Pulsechain Testnet is live. Obviously, we've been running on the BSC proof of work fork version, and of course, been operating very well for a long time. And let's see how we're getting on here. So we've got that on pulsechain.com. Obviously, the GitLab there is the public version. It's not behind the scenes. There's this, private folders that the devs will be running. But in the public version for V2B, we've got all these folders here operating along. So this is the BSC version. We had a couple of weeks ago, we had all these updates, which coincided with Richard Hart talking about these updates in GitLab. And I've played that video before, him mentioning that. And so that was kind of, for me, it's probably more talking about the private files in the background that he would probably have access to all that. It just happened to coincide with the fact that all these folders were updated at that time. So we'll see what happens here. I'm expecting almost a total revamp, so we'll see how that plays out. In any case, Pulsechain V3B has been ticking along, and of course, devs have been using that to develop on and process. So we've been having fun with that as well on the Blockchain Explorer. And then, of course, we've had just recently, we had a new sacrifice set come out. Interesting enough. Now, we've had quite big gaps between these. We had the 25th of August, then we had the 23rd of October, and then, of course, we just had the 1st of December, which came out as well. So we've had some really interesting little blues clues, as it were, around the GitLab, and of course around the sacrifice checker here potentially, and of course probably more importantly, we got a big update today in the last 24 hours or 18 hours ago. One day, this is what Richard posted 18 hours ago. One day, a testnet V3 will be out. This gives an air of confidence, or an air of confidence, I should say, and I think this is pretty cool to see that. So one day, a testnet V3 will be out. Then pulsechain.com and then pulsex.com mainnet. So very, very exciting for that. So just really, it's not a pure update, but it's a confidence builder, there. So one day, testnet V3 will be out. The pulsechain.com and pulsex mainnet, then glory. So that's a real confidence builder, and I like the tone of this. So it's very cool. I remember that out. I remember what out was like. I'm not quite sure if this sentence makes sense, but I remember what out was like waiting for Hex to launch, and then all our dreams came true. So very exciting there. Now that's pretty well received. 5,400 likes on that, and of course it's been retweeted almost 1,800 times there. 668 comments so far. Let's have a little chill out on some of these comments. Just Ask Jesse, happy dance. So he's pretty happy about that. Trayvon's in there. There's this story called The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Check it out, says Trayvon. He's a little bit testy these days about it. Brazolji's in the house then, says the story of the boys who cries on Twitter because the toy isn't here yet. That's probably Frizz's reply. Pretty funny. Bob Wells, of course, one of our community members here. Oh, man, how exciting is this? Could Hex birthday get any better? Of course, we've just come off Hex birthday. Hex is now in its 4th year, so it's very, very cool. And, of course, we're all getting a copy on the Pulsechain. and I do believe that Hex is going to be, pretty much a huge liquidity pair on that chain. So it's going to be fun. Hot Pro says, I never lost faith in Pulsechain, not for 1 second. Even the length of time it's taken to be developed so far, which has been great for logical reasons. I won't go into it here, has turned out situationally perfect. Can't wait for the V3. Thank you for everything, Richard Hart. And of course, we've had lots of other ones here. TJX says, what about strong developer community? There's no glory without adoption, building, and users. And Pulsechain News Talk said there is over 150 projects waiting to launch on Pulsechain. Developer and Pulsechain projects community is and has been very, very strong with a solid foundation. Now, I did reply to this one. Someone questioned the products, and I basically said, there's going to be about at least 10 quality projects, and I think that's probably true for most chains. If you look at where most of the value is, it's really in the top, say, 10, maybe 20 projects that are on a chain. And I think that's pretty easy to find. The other thing, of course, is typically you might have, let's say if we have 10, maybe 15 quality, let's say 10 for argument's sake, really high quality, and then maybe another 10 that have potential. I think that's kind of a pretty valuable chain just with that, because you get a lot of total value locked into that into those dApps, and they're the ones you want to chase down and get involved with. Then on top of that, the rest of them, you might have some wild cards in there. You may have a lot of copies and forks and meme coins and things like that. And, it's really some of those are just subject to, can they get the community big enough? Can they get enough momentum? And of course, then you're really throwing a dart at the dartboard. But hey, some of them may end up being wild cards. We will see. But it's good to have a lot of developers, good to have a lot of projects, a lot of choices that people can make. And of course, as someone that gets into crypto, then you need to get yourself educated and being able to sift out the good ones from the poor ones and maybe some of the really rubbishy ones. So that's what we try to do on this channel, is look at the probable projects as opposed to always the possible ones. And that said, I have got a little surprise coming up later on. So cool stuff here. We got this one here. Think Differently. Does it around that playing on the Apple, of course. I think that's pretty funny. A Pulsechain Think Different. I like that. It's around the Apple there. That is pretty funny. So we've got lots of people in there making comments. So it's pretty well received. Very, very cool. So that is pretty much the latest update from Richard, and really a big, strong confidence builder for me. One day Testnet V3 will be out, and then PulseChain.com and PulseX mainnet, then Glory. And of course, we know Richard's after Glory. I'm sure that we're all after some sense of glory with Pulsechain, especially as we've been waiting patiently for it. I remember what it was like waiting for Hex to launch, and then all our dreams come true. Now, if you were back then, of course, when Hex launched, it did take quite a while. And but man, it was pretty exciting when day one of the AA lobby came. And I think that's going to be even more eclipsed by the first day of Pulsechain launching. I think the euphoria is going to be out of this world, really will be out of this world with a seamless launch, obviously. So it's going to be fun to see that play. So very exciting for there. Now, we're going to talk about the second part of this, which is the rumors. Before we do that, I'm just getting to the chat there and see who else has jumped in here. So let's have a look here. We've got a few people just arrived. Let me see here. We've got Miguel in the house. Hi from Portugal. Good to see you, Miguel. Big shout out to you in Portugal. Beautiful place, sunny place as far as I've seen on TV. Crypto Tycoon says, hello, Superman. Good to see you, CT. And I was listening to RH Stream. Also, I was asking phone. I think I got up to that, actually. So now I'm thinking about it. Let's have a look at Christian. If there's facts, patience familiar, it will come and it will be worth it. Probably RH doesn't want to launch in the bear market. Who knows his strategy? All I know that Pulsechain is real and is coming. Yeah, I kind of feel that Richard said in the past that he wants it just to launch as soon as possible. But obviously, if you're not technically ready, then you can't. And I think it may end up so far it's playing out pretty well in terms of timing the bottom of the market. Although we still think there's one big hammer to come. Maybe we'll still get that 11K and pray. Not inevitable. But let's see how we go with that. It certainly hasn't happened in November, which was had all the right conditions for it. But the market has ended up holding up, especially with that Fed pivot. And we'll talk more about that later. Still expecting that to come, though. Ashtree in the house there. Woo! Good to see Ashtree. And I'm betting right after the documentary release. Well, that's Q1. You're talking about mainnet or testnet. So mainnet is probably after that period of time. So Q1. Sandy Beach in the house. Good to see Sandy. And of course, D-Hex as well. Let's go Hexkins, Pulseskins, and Pulse Hexkins. Fantastic D-Hex, good to see you as well. Hey, CJ, man, see Crypto Journeyman, good to see you in the house as well. Big, awesome Hex Token channel member. Illuminati says, what do you mean by rumors? That's a fact. I haven't got up to the rumors part there, Illuminati. We're just talking about the update. RH tweeted yesterday about V3. It will be launched in 1 day. So mainnet will launch after 1 or 2 weeks. No, that's no, not that. We just read out his update, so that's not that one. PulseChain is as real as we are, is legit and will come, says Christian Collin. I like it. I think he meant 1 day it will be launched, and not one. And 1 day would be nice. Yeah, I never said 1 day it will be launched. Yeah, I don't. You're having a private conversation there, Illuminati, because I never said anything like that. Peeps thought V3 would be out in 1 day, says Sandy Beach. That's funny. Alex is in the house as well. Good to see Alex Ferreira and Crypto BD as well. Hello, good to see you, Crypto BD. Smash the likes, people definitely smash it. And of course, Hex Force 1 is landed. Hello, all good to see Hex Force 1 in the house. All right, so this is the update today from Richard. Now we're going to talk about the rumors. And I know that some people are saying that Crypto 7, who's another YouTuber in the space, I'm at the bottom of the world, right, in New Zealand. Crypto 7's at the top of the world in the UK. And he's apparently he was talking about getting some intel about V3 Testnet. So we're moving from V3 Testnet coming out before Christmas. So that's kind of where I think he's been talking about. Now, obviously, I didn't know any sources. Haven't heard anyone say sources. If you haven't got a source for it, then it sort of doesn't give you as much substance behind your rumor, as it were. But we also saw KDP, who's a bit of an influencer on Twitter, and of course works for Power City. And of course, she put this out on the 2nd of December, part of this rumor here. I heard we may have Pulsechain Testnet V3 in the coming weeks. Fingers crossed. And of course, apparently she had talked to some friends. Now she's in Power City. So I guess if that's a more credible line of argument, because if Power City is building top utilities on a Pulsechain, then a good chance that many of these top teams are talking to the devs of Pulsechain and trying to get timings and things like that. So maybe they have little hush agreements and get a little bit of intel that way. So that's possible. If her friends on the phone were from the Power City core developer team, that may be possible there. She's got fingers crossed anyway, but she's put this out in a couple of different forms, KDP, on Twitter there. Crypto 7, funnily enough, was below here, and that would be awesome. We have been wishing for testnet for Christmas on Crypto 7 for several weeks. I love how he talks about himself on the third person. That's pretty funny. But it's it'd be nice to really cool to have it by Christmas. That'd be very bullish, but particularly because it's the ETH proof of stake version. That would be bullish, and I'd be we haven't had this in the past as much, but with the test nets actually impacting the Pulsechain, the Hex price, that might be a pretty powerful catalyst with the proof of stake version up and running on a test net. That'd be pretty awesome. And before Christmas, what might be a fun time as well. Now, remember, after the 14th of December, on the 14th of December, we've got the final Fed interest rate hike for the year. And hopefully we'll get a 50 basis points number. And I think that's like 80% of people think that at this stage. If that's the case, then that's going to bode very well to give us an environment that supports anything in crypto that's happening as well. So if we have a nice, strong financial environment that's sort of easing off a little bit in terms of the doom and gloom around the Fed, then maybe we can get a bit of a run on before Christmas. We'll see. I'm feeling optimistic. That's kind of where I feel about that at this stage. So there is a pretty nice confidence builder from Richard Hart that we've had, and of course rumors. And I say this, it's still rumors of, but maybe something with a bit of substance behind it from KDP and representing the Power City team there. So that could be pretty cool. We'll be looking forward to that. So get in the chat there. Let us know. Let us know if you've heard anything on any other channels, anything like that, with some credible, some sort of source. May not be verifiable, but some credible source that you may have heard. Let us know in the chat. We got Sandy Beach. That would be awesome. See Sandy Beach. We've got Alien Hexkin in the house there. I love that name, Alien Hexkin. Howdy. Good to see you in the house. Is that a Pulsechain thumbnail there too, or a profile pic? A Pulsechain profile pic there. Bitfinex says, we love you, Hex Token. Your streams are amongst the most informative in all of finances. Bitfinex, I appreciate that. A big shout out to you. And of course, Brian's in the house there, and that chat is polite, unlike earlier with Eric and Corey. Yeah, I did see a little snippet of on YouTube there, sorry, on Twitter, of the Eric and Corey one there. And yeah, so I didn't end up seeing the whole video. I just saw a little clip it. That seemed okay. But yeah, I'll try and maybe watch that a bit later if it got a bit tense in there as well. All right, cool. That is pretty much our Pulsechain update. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you want this link, I'm going to post the link. If you haven't seen the Richard Hart one, I'll post a copy to it in the chat there. And of course, go and like it and share it around because, you know, that gets the algorithms going for everybody as well. I'll post the KDP one there as well. She's got a bit more stuff around the sort of bullish stuff around Pulsechain. So definitely get in there. Brian says, great interview, but the chat got a little rough, says Brian. Oh, okay, cool. Now, Eric's obviously, you know, trolled Pulsechain and Hex many times, been an interview with Richards, really is a friend of Richards. I think it's a lot of just performance drama, and so it's not much, it doesn't mean much to me. But I guess if Eric can pick up a few of Richard's Hart's followers, then that's what these guys do, right? That's what they do. So we see that a lot there happening. All right, so cool. Let's get into the markets. We've got BTC holding. I mean, it's slightly below 17,000, but it's holding here at $16,914. We've got ETH as well at 1,214.42, down almost 4%. Obviously, the altcoins, you know, it's funny calling ETH an altcoin, but it's ETH an altcoin still until it really flips BTC. Still, I guess, an altcoin, right? So yeah, and then of course it becomes the master to rule them all. I'm expecting ETH to flip BTC at some stage, and it's got all the utility on it, so we'll see how that goes. Obviously, it's facing a lot of competition from other chains, but a lot of those chains have had a lot of issues and struggled to grow. So ETH, I think, is going to be the boss still for a long period of time to come with the smart contracts and things like that. I do think in the future it possibly will get eclipsed by new technology, just the way things go. Really will have to get on top of its next phase, the sharding, and of course the roll-ups and things like that to get that transaction per second up over time. Obviously, they're looking to 100,000 transactions per second, so that's their journey, which is the next. And of course, if you've got Hex stakes over there, you want that to happen too. Lower those gas fees during congestion times and bull markets. So we're looking forward to those next phases as well. Now we've got BNB at 291. That's just down almost 1% there. Solana, which we're watching, Solana's a little bit tenuous there, 3% down at $13.30. Now some people are also challenging the financial viability of Coinbase. Sorry, so that's the one that's on the watch list as well. You know, we've had quite a few of these exchanges and stuff pull out proof of reserves, but of course the contagion is still expected to play out. I still don't think we've got through the final contagion, despite, you know, efforts by Binance and stuff like that to get funds to support some of the smaller players in the market. So we'll see, you know, they'll put $1 or $2 billion for that. So we'll see how that plays out. Typically, when those funds get set up, often they're too late. So we'll see how that plays, and it is at least better than not doing it, right? So it's kind of cool. All right, we got Dodge just under 10 cents as well, $2. Sorry, down 2.2%. And Litecoin there at 76.74, down 1.4 as well. The stables are stable, which is nice to see. Yeah, we thought the contagion might even continue on into the stable coins. That'd be dreadful for crypto. So it's good to see that USD Tether, which is the bigger one there, back to peg. And yeah, hopefully they're tidying up their balance sheet and making sure that everything is one-to-one. Obviously, very dubious about that. All right, so cool. Let's jump over to Hex, though. Hex at the moment having a little bit of profit taking in the play. Did get up to resistance around the 3.3 cents mark here. So did get up to resistance and got rejected resistance there and down just below 3 cents at the moment, 2.98 at the moment on the old Hex price. The high for the day, 3.1 cents. And of course, in 5 minutes time, we're going to have a new candle. So it's kind of where we are there. So let's have a look at some of the indicators coming up here for Hex. Now, obviously, this is RH announced ETH proof of stake fork back here on the 9th of October. And of course, we've been mulling along there. What did I say, about 55 days, something like that. How are we doing? 55 days exactly. How about that? 55. What's that? The special number, 55. And of course, there we are, 55. we've got that is alive. 55 is alive. All right, so we got that going pretty good. Yesterday we did get up to 3.3, got pushed back down from there. Hopefully this is just a step down candle, and maybe we get another run. Maybe get another run there. Something maybe like this, looking like this formation. That'd be pretty cool as we lead into Christmas time. And of course, that's not too far away, right? So let's have a look here. We've got a few days here to Christmas, 25th, isn't it? So 21 days, 3 weeks. Are you amazing? Hope you guys have got picked up some of your presents and that. Don't do that late rush on the final day. You know how you do it? You go down to the gas station or something and buy half your presents. People do that, people do that. So, it's going to be pretty cool. If you go too late, of course, a lot of the good stuff's gone. So just it's a good way of picking up a bit of shopping every weekend. It's probably a bit easier to do if you're doing a lot of Christmas shopping, if you've got a lot of kids in particular. So cool, 21 days, 3 weeks to go. Let's see, man, 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe we get a Pulsechain Testnet V3. That would be a super surprise to the upside. And of course, we'll have a look at our poll in a second to see how that's going. All right, so that's kind of the cool play. We've got the Fed interest rate. This is the last big financial hurdle in front of us, is on the 14th. That's only a couple of days away. So let's have a look here. And that is only 10 days away from that final big hurdle. We get that 50 basis points. Very bullish, I think, for the market. The forward-looking statement will be important, though, because will we get 25 basis points in February next year or 50 basis points? I think that's pretty much where we are. 50 basis points, well, that's a negative. 25, that's a positive. Because remember, the absolute rate is going up, and that's the absolute rate that actually hurts the economy to varying degrees. So remember, we're currently at 4% on the federal funds rate, 3.75 to 4%. If we get 50 basis, that would take us to 4.5%. The retail rates in the US are a bit funny, but they've just come down a little bit there based on the longer term bond rates. And of course, we'll see how they pan out in terms of going back up as the federal funds rate goes up as well. So the higher they are, the more of those marginal housing loans start to fall over, right? That extra interest cost starts to people might be at break even or just short, and then it just takes more and more people out. So we'll be watching the pain in the house market there. All right, so cool. That's where we are at the stage. And of course, V3 testnet, who knows? We'll see how we get on there. That is the green candle there all the way to the 1st of January. We'll see whether we get it on that pre-Christmas launch there. That's kind of where we are at the moment. All right, so cool. And we haven't had the final hammer. I think we're going to get a final hammer. We have not had that yet. And so far, things seems like they're just quieted down for the moment. We'll see how that plays out. Let's have a look at the Hex whale bot as well. Let's have a look over the last 24 hours of the Hex whale bot. Let's see here. So we've got 23 hours, 10 million Hex in staked for 555. We actually talked about that yesterday. Very, very exciting to that. Look at all the people that like that, man. Is that crazy or what? So a lot of people like that. And that's pretty cool. We had 209 hours, 250,000 early in staked again. We've seen a lot of these lately. Have you noticed? A lot of these lately. 800 over 1,400. And of course, maybe it's because of the price of Hex, I don't know, or pre-price. This is from Line Kajar Hivad here. EHM Forbes just listed Hex. So I guess that's a pretty bullish thing. So yeah, I guess that's pretty cool. Looks like it's true. Forbes times Hex. So looks like it's true there. So that's very cool. Another listing for Hex. That's great. What else there? 1 million Hex just staked for 3,541 days. So cool. We really love seeing these millions of hexes, millions of hexes getting staked. Very exciting to see that. 180,000 Hex in staked, 805 days over 1678. Some crazy stuff right there. Negative ROI 6.3% on the Hex there. So just the way it goes. There's 2 million Hex in stake. Look at this. This is 1,080 days. Wow. This is really from the beginning there. Of Hex, right? We just hit the day 196, didn't we? 1,096, and this is 1,080. So this is like 16 days after the Hex started. That's some crazy old OG stuff right there. 2.9 million Hex reward on 2 million Hex in staked, 145% ROI and a 49% APY. That's pretty cool. And of course, let's see what people are saying about that. Hex correctly staked, does what it says on the box. APY, wow, well done, staker, says Freddie. Yeah, well done. Now turn that 150K into 5 million in a couple of years. Yeah. So people are pretty happy about that. Cool. So it's nice to see some of this stuff come out there. Benjamin says, as a Hex birthday present, I'm excited to launch the first version of Hex based on open source data warehouse for the Hex crypto data. Create your own individual individual analytics dashboard charts, and more. See the thread below. Something we might look at that and another one. I might just bookmark that and check that out before I talk about it. So it's kind of cool. What else there? 46.3 million hex stake for 30 days. One is short staking. We have still have these large hexagon short staking stakers here. So that's just another one. I was rolling those over. And of course, we had 7 hours ago, 965,000. Another long-term one here, 1080 days as well. 145% ROI with a 49% APY. Well done. Well done. That is what Hex is about, staking that out. So we've got some of these early ones coming out, some of these OG stakes. 5 million Hex in staked is also 768 days. And of course, got a reward, 106% ROI. Wow. 50% APY with 5.3 million Hex on 5 million. So very, very cool there. What are people saying about that? So cool. That's pretty exciting there. And I think that's kind of the highlights there. So cool. That is Hex Whalebot. We're going to have a look at the whale, the staking ladder as well for Hex at the moment. So we're going to go just to the end of, well, let's go to around about the 12th of December. They'll do us next year. Did I go next year? Yeah, I think I did. So we've got these stakes coming out at the moment. We've got around 300 million today, tomorrow. And of course, we got 467 million on the 6th of December. So we've still got quite a few of these 300 million plus candles. We got another one there at the 25th of December. That's 319. And then, of course, we've got these bigger candles in January, early January, the 1st of January, and 500 million on the 2nd of January. So we've still got a lot of these larger whales in the short term, all staking out. But the waves, they're slowly breaking up over time. And getting smaller, unless, of course, they all jump on each other. But over time, they're slowly breaking up. Now, the other thing is, of course, we've got all this big gap all the way through to next year. You can see that July, June's still got a big gap opening up. Now, obviously, as these things move forward, they'll slowly restake. And all of these ones are doing 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, that sort of thing. We've got the only big candle at the moment that's in the future is the 3rd of September, 2023. And a way to go on that one. And we've got these ones in November. Now, I'm pretty sure this stuff here, this 30th of November, there's probably a lot of OA stakes in there. I'm pretty sure typically OA is in late November. So I'm pretty sure there's 08 stakes in these candles here. So that's pretty cool. All right, that's very much for the Hex. Let's jump over to Hadron. And well, before we do that, actually, let's get into ETH Power and ETH Fair. So Hex has obviously got forked over to those other two new chains. Now they're performing, in a bear market differently. And so we've got $644,000 in 24-hour volume for Hex on ETH Power. And of course, Hex is now at number 12 down there. The price is at 0.00378.5, so 0.00378.5. And the price is down 6.7%. Now, maybe yesterday it was up like something like 90% or something. It had a big bull market yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. Up 36,000 is liquidity, and we've got $1,300 in the top pair there. And we've got another pair down here that's got $2,400 in volume, and that's pretty similar as well. So two trading pairs there. Now, some people are speculating on that, obviously, because the price came down so far to pick up a lot of Hex volume. So that's how a lot of people playing. When I say a lot of people, it's a very small retail play, but it takes only one or two people, right, on this sort of volume. So that's pretty easy. It is a retail play, but yesterday we had a pretty big amount of 24-hour volume in there. I can't remember the exact number, but it was in the tens of thousands from memory. So it's pretty cool. ETH Fair, let's jump to that. Now, ETH Fair is still very baby. This thing here is just struggling to get volume, $7,700 in daily volume. But Hex is still dominating in this. We've got 4 zeros, so not 3 zeros, 4 zeros, 8,893. But we did have a big rally following the ETH Power rally. It looks like we got a bit of a rally on this. But you got to remember, this is such a little retail play. I mean, you're talking about 24-hour volume, $346. So it's almost not worth talking about it. Now, why do I talk about it? Because it's interesting to see Hex operate on these new forks and how that's going to play out over time. So I do like to jump back into ETH Fair and ETH Power and keep a tab on them, especially after yesterday when we had the little price spike there. So it's going to be interesting to play. Now, obviously, if the price is struggling during the bear market and maybe we still haven't had that final hammer, that there may be volume opportunities on these chains. And maybe when we do get to a bull market, that could end up paying off quite lucrative. Now, that's more speculative, obviously, than the ETH chain or the Pulsechain coming up. But it is interesting to see it play out. And it's really a small retail play at this stage. But you just never know your luck, do you? It's nice when you take this early punt. during a bear market. Anyway, $10,000 of volume there, but we do see Hex there on a couple of the pairs as well. But only very small volume there, a couple $1,000 at most, 3,000 for this pair is the cheap pair there. So cool. All right, so that is pretty much it. Let's see. I really do think, Hex on ETH and Hex on Pulsechain will have two really strong passive income chains. It's going to be a lot of fun to see that play out. Now, Hadron at the moment peaked out at 1,984 today and is down at 1920. Yesterday, of course, we got up as high as 2,152. And we're still in this downtrend, right? Yeah, I think the burn's been a little bit this. We had two issues. I think Poly with the Poly issue and the contract not being able to bid on the Hex HSIs, those 90 plus million plus a lot of they're going to bid on a lot of the ones that were under $1 million as well, like the 100,000 and stuff like that. So that's been a big issue. It reduced the actual burn amount. And the other thing, we are still getting net burns on most days, but we're still getting a lot of minting. So not quite as successful at this stage, in my view. But it's ticking along. It's ticking along. We'll keep monitoring that and maybe have a deep dive into some of that deflation side of Hadron moving forward. So let's jump over to the actual auctions. I'm just going to change my wallet here. And let me just close down some of the Pulsechain stuff so we can just get into some of this Hadron. So we're going to just change over to the ETH chain. I'm going to be jumping to a few chains on this live stream, so stay tuned for that. We're going to go to the HSI auctions. So we've got currently 5,249 in the queue waiting to be entered into auction. So they're still humming along. There's a lot of them are very small, so I just don't think people are moving them there at the moment. We've got 43 to 39 that are actually in the auction house. And I'm still looking for auction house, not there yet, but we're going to keep it up. We're going to keep it up though. All right, so cool. We got 404,000, 407,000. They just got closed out. So somebody won these for 5 million and 4.8 million respectively. 52 T shares, so it's pretty cool. What else there? We got 75,000. We got quite a few little deals here. 118,000 on this one. Down here we've got 166,000. It's got 119 million ETH on it. Still 7 hours to go for that one. 253,000. So 250,000 Hex for these ones. Got a couple of those there. And what else is here that's interesting? There's lots of value here, opportunities for the retail book to get in. You just got to get yourself a good deal and be there at the right time. And you get some pretty good deals as I understand it. So cool. That is pretty much it. Let's have a look at Dev Huey. Dev Huey said 16 hours ago that 2 Watts NFTs have been burnt in the last 24 hours. And I know a lot of people are watching this, but man, people are holding on to these Watts really tight. It's the last man standing game, and people are not letting these things go. So pretty interesting there. Now, obviously, everybody's pretty much got more than they're all. Was it free carry? So people are just holding on to these. So pretty cool for that. Now we're just going to have a quick look at the actual Watts payout. So we're going to go to the Watts here and have a look. We'll also look at the Hadron burn as well, which is a pretty interesting number. So yeah, we got 1,077 yield versus 1,000 new NFT dollars. So still performing pretty well. You can see the yield playing out there. So the day 110 on the ICOSA day is a 9.53 ICOSA yield. So cool. That is pretty much it. Let's have a look at the Hadron as well. Hadron here, and we're just going to look at the last day burn, which is day 281. I'm pretty sure it was 280 when we did it yesterday. So we had 2.69 billion minted, and burn was 2.11 billion. So not deflationary on day 281. It was yesterday, but today, obviously, the mint is greater than the burn. So that's just the way it goes. But a lot of days it's been negative burning. So cool. Negative burning. That's a double negative. That's terrible. All right, so cool. Let's jump away to the free claims. Now, if you haven't joined our Discord, the Discord link is in the video description. I'm sure that someone might post that in the chat. So definitely get the link. And of course, we've got 2 main chats. We've got the Richard Hart chat around Richard Hart tokens, and of course, general chat. And then we've got Pulsechain chat. And under the Pulsechain chat, we have a group there called airdrops and free claims. So if you want to find out a lot of the ones that are on at the moment that we're aware of, you go check those out and see whether you qualify and so forth, and do your own investment due diligence, of course. before claiming. But we've got the Zen free mint. Now, this is obviously a mint that you can just go and mint with the gas fees. It's on like 10 chains. I do believe that they're going to try and go as many chains as they can. This chart is interesting. Now, I wanted to drop a little thought here. Now, just take into account, this is not what I call a probable play. This is a possible play. But I do think that this is going to be ramped up dramatically because originally this is a log function. So if you know a log function looks like, hopefully this looks like this, looks like that. So hopefully that's clear. You can see that. It looks like that. So basically you get a lot of inflation ramping up at the beginning. It's a log 2 function too, so it ramps up and you get a lot of that inflation at the beginning. So in the first year, you might be getting like 65, I think it's 65,000, a day. But in the future, 8 years in time, you'll be getting like 10. So it really has most of the inflation climbing at the beginning. Now, this is the price. So we expected the price to go down. And of course, we had a couple of reprieves here based on different news, NFT speculations, and the price bumped up, right? And then it's come back down. We got a little price jump there and back down again with the testing. So we've obviously in the 4th phase of testing on the Zen NFTs. Now, this is obviously by founder Jack Levin. And of course, he was also on the Twitter space with Richard Hart and Elon Musk there, I noticed. So that is pretty much how this played out. Now, I think this chart is actually, now, dare I say it, I think there's a huge opportunity here. Once again, not investment due diligence. I want to be very careful about this. This is a speculative possible play. But I actually think something might special happen with this chart coming up in December, potentially, depending on the launch of the Zen NFTs. Now, this is the first time I've actually said this on this channel because, as you guys know, I said that they would get a chart like this. This was here because of, Jack Levin and him coming out with these NFTs that have burning mechanisms in it. That wasn't originally at the beginning. We just had knew that it was going to be a log 2 chart, and of course that's what we expected the prices to go down, right? We also had a lot of bot minting. We also had a lot of exchanges manipulating the outcomes and all that sort of stuff playing out as well. So this is kind of where we're at the moment. So we're currently at 505719, but I do think that this is possibly could end up having a big price impact, ramp up at the moment. Now, how big could it be? I don't know, but I think that it could have some big potential returns in it. Obviously, it's speculative, so not investment advice in any way. But here's a look at some of the logic that's happening here. I noticed that Jack Levin here said, obviously posted about the NFTs here. And so this is obviously the NFTs that are coming up. Let me find this here. So we talked about this yesterday with the Apex Unicorn, X Unicorn series NFTs will be priced at 10 billion XN, or Zen, I should say. I'm mixing all the words up. Zen, and of course 10 billion. Now, that's huge. Priced means the amount of Zen you have to burn to mint one. Burn in this case means irrevocably destroy the total supply of Zen. So this might garner a lot of favor from speculators in this game. And of course, here is a image of the unicorn there. It's got all the details there. Now, obviously, this is on testnet at the moment, so you can actually go to the testnet version 4, and of course, you can mint if you happen to have, it's on a go early testnet. But if you had to have some gas, you could actually end up minting stuff on this. You have to go to a free claim gas minter for this testnet. And of course, it's got all the different stuff here. So it's got the VMU. So VMU virtual mining unit is a virtual wallet created by smart contract and controlled by you through the same contract. No one has the keys to these wallets. Access to them is controlled by the Zen NFT that you receive. Any possible count of VMUs is determined by the network block gas limit. And of course, you can get the max there, the max for that. Term days, of course, 344. Category collector, limited or Apex. And of course, series, there's all these different types of NFT series, and you mint away. And of course, you'll need Zen for that, and it will get burned. So you can see all the details up here at the moment. Now, what I wanted to talk about was the fact that obviously they're looking to do something that wasn't originally out, right? Which is actually having all these other NFTs, having these different burn levels: 10 billion Zen, exotic 5 billion, legendary 2.5, epic 1 billion, and rare 0.5, limited 10 million. So we could see a lot of action happening there. Now, obviously, I think my last count on the ETH chain, there was something like maybe 400 I can't remember the exact number, 450. Yeah, I can't exact amount. I can't remember exact number that's actually in the liquidity pools at the moment, but I thought it was something like 450 billion or something like that at the moment. I think it's 450 billion, something like that. So you have to double check, but I think that's something like that. Now, he's talked about the total burn should be about 15 trillion Zen over time, not including limited classes NFTs, which also burn 10 million each. So that's over time. And I do think that the total trillion will probably end up being about 60 trillion, if I remember rightly as well. So you have to confirm these numbers. Those are some of the numbers I've seen bandied around. So that's kind of cool. That could be quite interesting for this chart, but it is a speculative play. But we're watching this and see how that plays out. But this could be launching. They are taking extra time to make sure that the audits are fine, that these are working on testnet. And so we'll see how that plays out. So that was kind of a surprise to the upside for this project, which is a speculative one, right? So we'll see how that plays out. Some food for thought, though. Let's jump over to the rest of the airdrops, though, and talk about those. We've got weight token, I should say, weight token. That's currently at just a similar price to yesterday, just over a quarter of a penny at the moment, and most people are waiting on this chart. So most people are just waiting and getting more weight token as they wait. Obviously, there's 8 sacrifices for this, so you qualify for that. You can find that in the Discord under the links there if you want to see whether you qualify. The other thing, of course, let's have a look at the final one there, Paul Pleb. And of course, this is if you did some certain sacrifices for, I think, PulseX and PulseChain. If you did between $10 and $1,000, then you become you're a Paul Pleb, and you can look to claim this as well. I'm not sure when the claim phase is over. It's got to be pretty soon. I think it's day 69, if I remember rightly. So let's see how many days we are so far. 34. So it sounds like it's still got another 25 days or so to go. So you can go to confirm that. But that's kind of where we are at the moment. We're at 3,200, just humming along here at the moment for Paul Pleb. Did launch at an unfortunate time in the bear market, but has managed to find a price bottom here somewhere. Seems to be moving in the sort of sideways channel at the moment. So that's kind of the airdrops. So we're going to jump over to Pulse Bitcoin. Now, this has had a bit of fun. And as you guys know, I've sort of ranked these as, I haven't checked the ATMs. I haven't confirmed it. So take it as a grain of salt. But we've got ATM NFTs, then asset tokens. And maybe asset tokens is actually at the top. So because you're getting the yield with the Pulse Bitcoin. So we'll probably put that at the top. ATMs, the Pulse Bitcoin, and of course Pulse Dogecoin, and maybe Pulse Litecoin later on. But there's a lot, 5 coins basically with NFT in there, inclusive of the NFT. So cool. We got Pulse Bitcoin, Pulse Bitcoin at the moment, which is the main narrative coin. That is at $1.61. So had a bit of red day today, down to $1.51. And so a bit of selling pressure there. Low volumes though, pretty low volumes on all these days. That's pretty much it too. Pulse Dogecoin, of course, the meme coin, the original one that's been transformed. You transform it into asset tokens. That is currently at $5.37. A really nice little pump up here too. Yesterday it got up to $5.81. Now at $5.37. Looking a lot bit better here, but still kind of in a downtrend. We obviously want to get it back over $6, something like that. $6 would be a good start to getting. It looked like it might get a bit more bullish, but you got to remember it's had over 50% burn. So I think the narrative's still got to play out there. And of course, how many days to the end? About 15 days to go on the old Pulse Dogecoin to transform into asset tokens. Asset tokens, on the other hand, this has been a big play. So the whales have been out in play. We've got some candles in here. And this has rallied from 83 cents. Assuming you didn't catch this dip at 75. Let's say 83 cents all the way up to $1.17. This is on the hourly chart. Let's go to the daily and zoom in on this. But this has been pretty bullish. Look at that. So the whales came in here, lifted the game, and what did we get up to? It's a 40% gain and 46% gain in like a day. And now we're up maybe just over 2 days, up about 28%. Now, people might be chasing this asset token. You need the asset token just like you would be buying asset mining equipment to mine Bitcoin. You need the asset to mine Pulse Bitcoin and in the future Pulse Litecoin. So this is kind of cool here at this stage. Now, Wolverine is back as well. So obviously he's been involved talking about this quite a bit too. He took a bit of time out for family, as I understand it. Currently $1.08 on the asset token. So interesting to see that play out. So there's a 5-to-1 ratio at the moment. So that's kind of where we're at there. Let's jump over to the actual results at the moment on the transform and have a quick look at this. We got 3,141,000 Pulse Dogecoin. We've got 51.53% is burned, which is amazing. And we've got just under 15.5 million asset tokens transformed or minted from this Pulse Dogecoin. So that's kind of cool. We're on day 44, so we got 16 days to go on this one. We are ticking over. We are just ticked over a day. And let's have a look here. 7,025 miners. 19 million asset tokens. So that's obviously with the transform and the ATMs that have been redeemed. And of course, we got 34,000 asset burned so far at the minting at the moment. So far mined 2.4 million Pulse Bitcoin mined, heading towards 10.5 million before the first halving, just like the original Satoshi Bitcoin has. This has got a halving at the same amount. There'll only ever be 21 billion Pulse Bitcoin, just like the Satoshi Bitcoin. So this has not all come into play. I think there's maybe just around about 1 million that's actually been minted, but this has been mined so far. 2.4. This is kind of forward looking there at the moment. As a token miners, we've got 2,820 that haven't been redeemed. 1 million points is the amount there, and of course we've got 3.5 million points has been redeemed, and of course they are mining their Pulse Bitcoin, and of course 1,364 there. So these will be tradable on Rarible and OpenSea. And once again, be interesting to see what their valuations are because there's less of them, right? So, and they will benefit from all the asset coming in, but they don't get the Pulse Bitcoin or the Pulse Litecoin. So they don't get that APY added, I guess, at this stage. All right, so cool. That is pretty much it from the founder. 22 hours ago says you have less than 18 days to transform your Pulse Dodge into ASIC, which really more like 16. Don't miss out on the mining, the next generation Bitcoin, Pulse Bitcoin, and of course the transformation in there. What else there? Are you in need of money? You can swap your Pulse Dogecoin for $5.69 right now. Feel free to dump your free claim PLSD for real money. I don't know why it tempts people all the time. You can also transform your Pulse Dodge into ASICs for free at a 1-to-5 ratio. That is the sell line, right? That's the sell line there. So you can do that. It's kind of cool. That is the founder from Pulse Bitcoin. We've been following that. So kind of an interesting experiment as well. Now, what else there? We've got the BNBP. Before we get into that, though, let's catch up on the chat. I'm probably a little bit ahead of myself. So let's try and catch up here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the new mic. Before we do that, though, let's end the poll. How many people we got here? 97 votes. Can we get 3 more votes on the poll? That'll get us 100 votes on the poll. Let's see if we can do that poll. When Pulsechain Testnet V3 before Christmas, January, New York time. New York? No, it's January, New Year's time, not New York. And of course, party time. And of course, February 23, give me strength to hold on to that long. And of course, March or later, boo-hoo-hoo, as Richard would say, boo-hoo-hoo, cry, cry away. All right, we've got two more votes to get that 100, and then I'm going to end that poll. So get in there and vote, folks. All right, so cool. What else? We've got a couple of comments in the chat, so let's get to that. Just got to catch up to where I was before. We've got a few other comments in here already. Brian says, great interview, but the cat got a little rough. I think that's where I got up to. He admitted it was. He is absolutely a hexkin, in my opinion, says Brian. I'm not sure who you're talking about. You're talking about Eric. Eric is, okay, yep. Like it up, folks, says Brian. Feed the algo. Definitely do that. Tortoise Johnny in the house. Good to see you, Tortoise Johnny. Living on crypto. Great work, man. Hit the like button. You definitely smash the like button, folks. Hey, we hit 101 votes. So let's end the poll. What are the final results? What do people think? Now, when Pulsechain ETH proof of stake, and of course Testnet V3 before Christmas, yay, 37%. So that's just over 1 in 3 people. So that's pretty cool. Almost 4 in 10, isn't it? Almost. January New York time, so 29%. So yeah, people are pretty bullish. So what's that? 50, 60, 68%. So that's 2 in every 3 people think that very good chance we might have it by Christmas or January. So that's pretty cool. 2 and 3. I'm pretty optimistic too myself, to be honest. Now I don't want to be set, unrealistic expectations. Just rumors around, and my point of view is it would be pretty cool, right? It'd be pretty cool. It has been 55 days since Richard announced the ETH proof of stake fork, and of course the actual proof of stake fork was before that. So I'm excited about that potential. March or later, boo-hoo. So these are the skeptics. And of course, it's good to have healthy skeptics, man. It's always good to have that other side to challenge you. Boo hoo hoo, 19%. And of course, February 23, give me strength. So 1 in 10 people are pretty much in the middle ground there. So we'll see how we get on. We all want a pretty good Christmas, though, or a good New Year's party. That'd be pretty nice. You can imagine the Hex price, I think, could really rally on that too. Obviously, getting a copy of that. And of course, bullish to see a proof of stake version of Testnet. That's pretty exciting. Bitfinex is in house there. Hey, Brian, good to see you. Wonderful to see you. Nice one there, Bitfinex. Very kind words. Christine's in house there. Hey, the Hexkins, stay blessed. Excited to be a day 351 staker. Well, that's pretty cool. 5-5 club, and I'm in Pulse till death do us part. Christine, that is awesome. Well said. That is well said. We got Sam and SB in the house as well. Another awesome Hex Token channel member. Good to see you, Sam. Hi, all. Hope the gym and the little dog walk is going well. Michael Racine in the house as well. Hey, Suitman, good to see you. Terry Doc. Hi, Suitman and family. What else there? Let's jump through that. We got J-Man in the house. Good to see J-Man. Those new emojis don't show up in the studio. So if you're posting those new YouTube emojis, they don't quite show up in the studio there. Sandy Beach is waiting for the weight token, just accumulating that volume. The Blobfish King in the house there. I'm late and got caught listening to Twitter Spaces. Suitman sounds different. Yeah, I've got a new studio mic called Azure. Azure mic. Is it called Shure? Yeah, I think it's called Shure. It's the old Kiwi accent, Shure mic. And so now this is my third evolution. Now we're at a proper YouTube studio level mic. So I'm very excited about it. And we're looking, this is one of many changes going to be coming up ahead there. Have you looked into PulseChain, says Dan Dog Crypto? Now, I did see Conrad Zen. He's doing more regular live streams, which is good to see. I haven't checked to see whether his internet is working properly, but he's definitely been doing a lot of stuff there with the old PulseChain. Now, I'm not really sure why he did PulseChain, actually, Dan Dog. I think he should have probably just kept doing more stuff around Hex and PulseChain. So I'm not quite sure his rationale for that. I know that a few YouTubers in the Hex and PulseChain space have gotten to their own coins. Now, it doesn't mean that if it's got the right utility and the right reasons, maybe it's onboarding a new audience, or maybe it's got a new utility, new feature that we haven't seen, then that's kind of cool. But other than that, I kind of feel you might as well just keep to your bread and butter into the Richard Hart gold-plated coins, right? So I'm not against it. I just think there's got to be good reasons for it. But yeah, it's freedom, right? Freedom. Crypto is freedom. So you can choose what you want. But I just feel, momentum is and concentration does have to have that right balance. Now I talk about other cryptos, as you guys know, but I just think that in terms of doing your own token as a YouTuber, I don't know, just so many tokens out there. I don't know. This doesn't seem, it's a little bit. Just if you got a good reason, it's probably fine. Bob Wells says, hello again. Good to see you, Bob. Always Sandra says, Bob, yeah. Who else is in the house there? We've got a few more people jumped in. So can we chat in code with new emojis behind the boss's back? Hopefully not there. We've got the Pulsechain in the background. All right, cool. That's pretty much it. Let's get into BNBP. Now, the BNBP, I should say. There's so many of these letters that rhyme together. But what I was going to say is that this is our speculative play, but this is new technology. So I'm talking about if you're onboarding new communities or you got new technology, this is great. This is why we're in crypto. A lot of fun. Now, obviously, this is the world's first peer-to-peer crypto casino or iGaming. And, of course, we're looking forward to exciting things coming up soon for this project in December. So some bullish things coming ahead. We've also got, obviously, the participation wallet. So we've got some pros and cons, but I think once we get through those, it's all pros for the pretty much. And this is a bear market too. Is holding up pretty well. This is the first Pulsechain Sacrifice project that has actually launched and has done, I think, very, very well. It's and iron things out. Now, there's three benefits. Obviously, they wanted to launch on Pulsechain, but Pulsechain wasn't ready yet, so they had to launch on BSC, which I think is a good move. Now, the three benefits, as I always say, is that you build up a community, you get to test out your product on another chain, and of course, you get the wealth effect that you can transfer over into Pulsechain, and I think that's all a win-win. So it's pretty cool. And this is what I'm liking to see. This is world-class innovation in crypto. Very rare these days. You can go out there and you think stuff's actually kind of new. It's not really that new. And, of course, this is very new indeed. So it's very cool to see this. All right, so let's jump over to some of the news here. BNBP did do an update to statistics, which I briefly talked about yesterday. And, of course, they've just posted this a couple hours ago. Fully on-chain casino statistics. Now, what we're looking at this from a staker's point of view, not from the gaming point of view. And of course, we get the benefit of the gaming, but we're just thinking about getting our BNBP and staking it and becoming a long-term beneficiary in this ecosystem. Winning, it's a lotting. They got winnings and losses, total games played, and fees paid. And of course, this is the new upgrade here. They got the highest profit winner, highest profit loser, most games, and all sorts of stuff. And you can actually search by wallet and see all the profit leaderboard and the loss leaderboard there as well. When this was posted, 26,000 was the biggest win, and $46,000 was the biggest loss there. So it's high risk, high return for some people that are playing. Now you can see some of these people play a lot of games, and some of them don't play so many. There we are. This is what happens when you go into that sort of ecosystem. Now, obviously, this sort of gaming is super popular. I can't remember the exact number in the US, but it's something like 70-80% of people playing some form of gaming or gambling games. So it's pretty big. A lot of people like doing it for some reason. But of course, this is how it's going. Now we're looking obviously for a few new games coming out in roulette coming in December. So it's going to be cool to see that play out. All right, so that is kind of the highlights. Let's get into the Hex Daily stats. We've got we're at day 1097 hot off the press. So we're going to talk about that. We come up just to an hour and 1 minute, and so it's good to see. Russ is in the house. Hey, Russ. Hi, everybody. Good to see him there. Anyway, so we've got day 1097 hot off the press, the 3rd of December 2022, and of course we're in our 4th year. Is this cool? 4th year of Hex. So cool, man. Down 1.5% on the price to 2.972. A little bit of hit resistance, a little bit of profit taking, and here we are at the moment. ROI there is 526x from the all-time low. Of course, 5th of January 2020 is the reference point there. Payout per T-share is 6.277 Hex per T-share. Man, this Hex payouts are just dreamy. They're dreamy. They're only getting better and better and better. And because there's all these T-shares coming out at the moment, we've had all these people do these funny in-stake penalties and all sorts of stuff lately. And of course, we're getting this extra bonus into the yield. It's so cool. And of course, people accumulating T-shares, very, very nice. Now we've got the share rate there is up 11.4 today to 25,211. The share price is $749. Now, obviously, when you stake Hex, your Hex gets burned, and of course, you get shares in return. You get to mint your Hex back later on with interest and penalties that you earn as part of the reward pool. So that's pretty cool. So obviously, every year that you stake, you get 20% more shares. And so up to 10 years, you get 200% more shares. So you can get a third of the value here if you're going to longer pays better in Hex. That's kind of how that plays out there. Average stake net, 6.73 years. So that's slightly up from yesterday. And the APY, the annual percentage yield rate, yield and emergency in-state penalties is 37.75%. Now, remember, APY is that compounded result. And, of course, APR is kind of like a flat interest result. So just remember the differences between those two if you're new to crypto. Okay, liquidity in the pool there is 282.5 million Hex in the pool. And, of course, up from yesterday with the price changes there. Now, this moves around based on two things, people buying and selling, and, of course, people adding liquidity and removing liquidity as well. And some people do use that liquidity mechanism to sell their position out too if they're buying or selling. So there's a way of doing it like that for the bigger players generally. Liquidity is 282.5 million. Now, the liquidity in the pool for USD, just under $10.9 million US, and, of course, 1,617 ETH there. Let's jump over to the T-shares. We had a couple of big down days. Look, over the last 10 days, we had some pretty big down days in T-shares. Look at this. And, of course, we've got all these candles out. We've still got a couple of big candles coming out ahead of us. And, of course, we had all through the end of November, we had about 40% of all the Hex T-shares coming out were OA T-shares. And, of course, they reaped all those inflation, making inflation lower, which is pretty cool. So we got the T-shares up 5,500 today, still under 10.3 million. Amazing, folks. Amazing. This is really cool. Longer pays better, getting those T-shares, and you're earning that yield. So when the next price run comes, you're going to get yield times price. And thank you very much to the Hex contract there. Now, people get rewarded for their decisions, right? And of course, timing, you have time in the market over time in the market. And of course, if those both play out very well, you have time in the market and you get the timing in the market. Voila. Thank you very much. Kind of your decisions do count. I prefer staking ladders, right? I prefer staking ladders. And as some people prefer the max stakes, like they do 555, something like that. So You could do that too. Like if some people put all their stuff out 15, just depends on what your situation is. If you're nice and young, maybe that's a thing. If you're going to pass it on to your family, that may be a thing, that sort of thing. So you got to weigh up your staking ladder. I like staking ladders because you have time in the market with staking ladders. You also have a passive income that way, where you put an investment over, say, every year or something like that, or every 6 months. And of course, you mitigate the gas fees as well that way. The other thing, of course, is that you'll go through different bear and bull markets that way. And you also get to, not only do you have time in the market, but you get to time the market in terms of its price. So if maybe the market's having a parabolic rise, you get the time there too. And maybe it sort of averages out there a little bit there. You might be in a stake coming out the bear market. Maybe you just restake that. Maybe you got a stake coming out in the bull market. Maybe you sell that and buy yourself, I don't know, a Tesla. I don't know. You decide what you're going to do. So that's kind of the play there as well. So people's decisions do have a big impact on how this plays out for them as well. So let's jump over to the percentage of coin stake. 9.7% of Hex is staked at the moment. Penalties just over 800,000 today. We've had some terrific days. Look at this: 3 million, 1.3, 1.8, 1.2, 4.8, and 1.8 and 3.5. Some really terrific days. 7 out of the last 10 days have been over 1 million, which is pretty nice. Now, Hex is continuing to grow for the most part. We've got the wallets up 36 to 314,193. This is kind of your Etherscan number that you'll see on the contract with the liquid Hex there. We've got the current stakers up 35, up to 116,036. Man, it's just climbing. Remember when we hit 100,000? That was pretty crazy. Actually, this should go back a few days. I'm not sure when that was actually. Yeah, some time ago, actually, quite a few days ago now. But we're up to 116,000 stakers. Now, this is the most important number to me. Hex is all about T-shares and getting those stakes. And, of course, getting those T-shares is pretty cool. So we're up to 116,000 stakers, which is pretty nice to see. We've had some really good triple numbers recently as well. So it's good to see that. Now, total holders there up 177 to 515,365 and onwards and upwards, onwards and upwards. So we're on day 1,098 now, and it's pretty cool. We've already got the base rate is so high now. Look, we're already up at 6.231 Hex, and there's a little bit of penalties there, but not much. So 6.231. Amazing. You're getting that much more Hex because you decided to get those T-shares and play the longer game, the time in the market. So very, very cool. Now, obviously, with the price pulled back around 95%, it's been a pretty good opportunity to pick up a lot of volume of Hex. Will we wick down if the market does hit the hammer? Will we hit down at 1 cent? I don't know. We will see. If we get Pulsechain Testnet proof of stake, that may hold the Hex price up and it won't even go there. So that's the other countenance. We have a specific special event like that may offset any down market, so or at least mitigate the down market. So we'll see how we play out on that. Obviously, at this price range, every cent that goes down, the volume upside is dramatic. So we'll see how that plays out. But at the moment, we're holding up at 2.9 cents or just under 3 cents at the moment. 2.927. So very cool. That is the Hex Daily Stats, and we're up to an hour and 8 minutes, which is pretty good. We're going to jump out of all these charts here. We're going to end up on the Hex chart. We've got Bitcoin holding at just under 17,000, ETH at 1250. The hammer has not yet fallen. We have not reached 11K in prey. Is it inevitable? Maybe not, but we've certainly got a lot of contagion efforts around. Actually, one thing I was going to do is look at the weekly chart here on the Hex, and not the monthly, the weekly chart. Let's have a look at the weekly chart here and see this play out. So cool. This is our weekly chart. Let me just auto log that actually and get rid of the overlays. That is our, no, I don't want to get rid of the overlays. I want to get this chart here. So this is our resistance here in yellow, and we're well below that at the moment. So I'm sure we're going to get some reprieve. Now, I think I said to you that if we get a rally by Christmas or something, then that would be about 9.5 cents. 9.5 cents would be the rally. We need. This is a weekly candle. Remember, not on daily candles, weekly candles here. So that would be the time that we have. So we've only got a couple of weeks to do that. So maybe 3 weeks. So we'll see what happens. The only thing for me that would get a catalyst like that, maybe the Testnet V3 proof of stake would probably be the only catalyst I can think of that would get us there at this stage. Particularly that we're still in this environment, this bear market, and of course with the Fed and that, and of course the 14th of December we might get that pivot on and so forth. So we'll just see a bit of this play out by mid-December. I'd be a lot more bullish, and the probability for me would go up. So looking forward to that. All right, so cool. Let's get into some of these final comments for a wrap up. We're gonna play some funky music on the way out. I hope you guys know what I'm gonna play. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm gonna play. Let's have a look here. So DB in the house there, when launch to sir. Well, the rumors DB potentially in a couple of weeks. There's some rumors out there from KDP. Maybe the source is Power City if they're talking of the devs. I'm speculating here, but it's the logical line. Who else would you know? And maybe they'd be talking to the Pulsechain devs who know and trying to coordinate there a little bit there. We'll see. One day closer in any case, DB. No promises, but one day closer. Yearly stake ladder is best. Roll forward 2 years in a bear market. Yeah, unprotected Hex. I agree. That's a good strategy, man. There's a good strategy around staking. Howdy all. Happy Sunday, says Matt and Barley. Matt and Barley. I actually kind of like 6 monthly stakes too. Like if you have a 6 monthly stake ladder, I think that's pretty good because 6 months not that long to wait. And if you had the stakes out all the way out to, I don't know, 10, 15 years, depending on how many you want to set up there. Obviously, you got to weigh up the gas fees to that as well. If Ethereum gets into a more bullish market, even the proof of stake system is going to start getting congestion in it. One more sunrise closer to launches, Matt and Barley. That's true. One more walk with the dogs on the beach there, Matt. One more walk with the dogs on the beach. Bob Wells says, minted another 18 Pulse Bitcoin today with my weekly miners. Let's hope that price keeps rising, says Bob. Let's hope. Yeah, well, hey, look, we might get a bit of a party time by the 20th of December when that final transform phase is over as well. Bob Wells in the house. Gotcha. Yeah, definitely. And of course, Sandy Beach, man, you're front running me again. Sandy Beach her knowledge is so widespread that she's front running me. Prada. Maybe, Sandy. Wink, wink. Maybe. Russ is in the house there. Lunchtime. Yeah, how do you guys know? It is currently good old 12:42 p.m. On a Sunday afternoon, the 4th of December. And it's a late lunch for me, but it's going to be fun in a minute or two. Jono in house there. Maybe Sandy's wrong. Sandy, maybe you're wrong today. I've already preset the music, so I can't change it, Sandy. But maybe you are wrong about the Prada. We've got Jono in house there. Hey, man, good to see you, Jono. Hey, I hope you guys are enjoying my new mic, my Shure mic. It is now studio quality, and hopefully it's a bit more personal, a bit more clear and crisp. That would be very, very cool. Sunday roast, yummy, says Matt and Barley. No, I haven't got a Sunday roast. That would be very lovely indeed. But no. Big bass, sir, says DB. No, it's not big bass either, DB. I haven't played big bass for a while, but it's definitely going to be some music. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, all that good stuff. If you want to join as a member of this channel, hit the join button. We've got Pulskins, Xskins, and the Richard Hart Club. And, of course, if you want to join our Discord for good information and, more importantly, good community, the link is in the video description. And your host, Superman, is talking about himself in the third person, just like Crypto7. And, of course, YouTubers must get some sort of delusion. But here we are. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And, yeah, maybe a couple of weeks, if the rumors are true. It was certainly nice to get that bullish confidence post from Richard today. And maybe we'll get it pretty excited. I think after the 14th of December, if things line up, we might have that Christmas boom. That'd be pretty cool. All right, take care, everybody, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Now you're going to find out the secret music. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom.
54. Oh, yeah.